long as I remember it, thank you very much. It is a great honor to have to be able to address this panel, and I think that the title is quite conducive. I have fixed myself on the Euro crisis and the soft power of EU attraction. And a week ago, I had a really perfect speech written by my cabinet, and then someone ruined it. What has happened is that we had a European company deciding to invest in Macedonia, and during the opening lunch, where there were a lot of business people in Macedonia, the investor said, one of the reasons that I have decided to come to Macedonia is because you're not part of the Eurozone, but you have a microeconomic policy that is as stable as one can wish for. So that was a shock. I mean, it would have been a great shock to tell it in front of the foreign minister, but it was even a bigger shock because he said that in front of business people in Macedonia. And they said, the guys who are telling us from morning till night that we need to work, that we need to deliver, that our main objective is joining the European Union, heard someone else coming from elsewhere saying, well, this is an asset. But how naive one needs to be in order to believe that this is the right perception of the things. I think very naive. And this is also proven, and I think that it is confirmed by the polls that we are practically doing on a weekly basis on support for joining NATO and EU. And it happens that I'm representing probably the most Europhilic country ever on earth, because 90% has been the lowest threshold that we ever reached in terms of supporting joining the European Union. But there is a very good reason for that. It's not as naive as one would think about. If we go really to the basis, what does Europe aspire, and what has aspired some 60 years ago when people have started thinking about European integration? It was about the peace project, and it was about rule of law and democracy. These are the same things that we are hearing roughly every day on our media, and this is what reflects as a symbol to our citizens when we're discussing the European issue. These days are a little bit different. These days are times of economic crisis. Well, we have seen some weaknesses in the European Union, and one might believe that this is not the right moment to join a club which has certain problems that are appearing on the top of the agenda and actually are visible on the surface. Based on historical facts, that is wrong as well. The largest enlargement waves have happened in deepest crisis in European history. Just think of the first wave. And Tim happens to be from the United Kingdom. United Kingdom was one of the 3 countries that have joined the European Union back in the 70s. That was the time of the petrol shock. I can't remember because I wasn't born at that time, but people say that was a terrible crisis. And Europe has really touched the bottom. As a matter of fact, the entire world has touched really the bottom after the World War II. The following waves have also happened in times of big crisis. In the 80s, we had 3 countries that were emerging from hard dictatorships and were aspiring to Europe because they had these same ideals: the peace project, the rule of law, and democracy. It has driven the changes that they have made thanks to these same ideals. If you keep going back in the 90s, when 3 wealthy nations have joined the European Union, that was also a tricky situation because very few people were able to predict which direction will Europe as a whole take after the turbulences of the beginning of the 90s.